Ooh. Are flames supposed to come out? Welcome back to Christina's Garage, Gearhead in Training. We are back for part 2 of installing the Holley Sniper EFI 2 on my brother's 68 Mustang Fastback. We purchased some fittings to help with readjusting for the fuel line. The positioning had changed with the upgrade, and I got some tape. There are just a couple things that we're gonna do to finish up the setup, and then we're gonna do the digital side of things and hopefully get it started today. Since the fuel lines before they attached back here, now they're coming out of this side. I went online and ordered through Summit. It came in overnight. It was really great on shipping. We grabbed this one and then this one here. This regulator came from the Holley Sniper EFI 1. It was on this side. We disconnected it from that unit and put it here. And this is the fuel pressure regulator, which we purchased this. No, this came with the kit. This one is another one we purchased. So I purchased 3 different fittings. I got this one, the 45 degree, the 90 degree, and then this was a different, I forgot what the title of that one was. I could probably put the links in the caption if you guys are interested in the specific ones that we got. And so we're just gonna connect it like that. We're gonna put a hose here and we're just gonna leave it here for now. Eventually, if my brother wants it to stay here, we're gonna create a bracket to mount it here. I personally think it looks fine like this, and then the filter is gonna go on top, which is gonna pretty much hide it anyway. Or later on, after we get it started, have everything ready, set to go, if he wants it mounted on the back, we will just have to buy some more fittings. We could mount this up here and have it just look different. That's basically aesthetic preference, which my brother will let me know. And we're already gonna be changing out all the fuel lines anyway to Teflon later on. This is just to make sure we get it started and hopefully fix the issue that my brother was running, or my brother was dealing with, that it would stop randomly. So we're going to do our best to fix that issue first and then worry about aesthetics and all this. The wiring harnesses, there's a lot more wiring than there was with the Holley Sniper EFI 1. And we're going to have to readjust and organize these wires so they look a little bit prettier, because it doesn't look good like this. There's a little, I don't know if you can see it, the nipple down here, or there's a part we're gonna need to replace down here to attach this to. And I think that's it, because we got this one connected, and then the wizard, I forgot what he called it, to get all of this all talking to each other. So we need to get the hose. Is that for?
We do this too, because that's for that PCV.
Oh, yeah. In the very front. Should we do that first?
Hose cutter, but we can essentially tighten what's up there, tighten it down, and then we're gonna get this to get pretty close to length. Right, it's not gonna be very long, just a little one. But we also want to Teflon tape these too, real quick.
So how do you do?
See how I did that one?
Oh, you just wrapped it.
Yeah, I'll show you on this one.
Okay. Teflon tape. Oh, it's kind of thin.
Very thin. So you want to go in the direction too that you're going to tighten it, otherwise it'll unravel.
Oh.
So you don't want to cover the first couple threads because you want to have good thread engagement. Just kind of hold on to it. Make sure it's nice and spread out and tight on there. And you get a couple windings around it. You don't have to go too crazy with it. And then I like to go right back to where I started, if I could, to make it uniform.
Okay.
But now when you go to tighten it up, it's going to go in the direction that you wrapped it.
Rather than unwrapping it when
Correct.
you're... Okay, so I have to do like a righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So if because tightening it would be this way, so I want to wrap it that way. Do I need to do
Not
this
on
one?
that side, just these pipe fittings. So national pipe thread, they're tapered. You can look at them and see how it's tapered.
So that's the only one. Well, this one's tapered too.
This one has a taper for the gasket side of things. Right? Let me grab another fitting. I'll show you.
With the Teflon tape, does it matter which side, like in terms of the tape itself? Like it doesn't feel like tape. It just like it just.
Not, yeah, it's just in a tape form. So if you look down in there, you can see that there's tapered, right? And it's opposite of this. So essentially these go together, and those surfaces touch, and that's what causes the seal. So we don't need Teflon tape on these fittings, only on the pipe fittings, because these are the 37° AN. You just got to make sure that these surfaces are not scratched. Yeah.
When you screw it in, it goes this way. It doesn't feel. It's not sticky, which I thought it would be.
No.
So if I turn it right, it would go that way. So
the thread sealants like these, it's
the
like a
the blue
paste or glue, kinda, and then you just put them on there.
Do you just like with that? Do you just kind of like paint it on here and then tighten it? Okay.
Yeah, but the Teflon tape is faster, easier, less mess. You don't have to wait till it dries. Most of it's fine anyways, but.
All right, so righty tighty would be this way. So I want to go that way.
Yep.
Oops. How many times did you say?
3 times.
3 times, okay. And then line it up right where I started. Okay. Okay. All right, I got that one. So that was the last one I needed to do?
That plug?
This one? No,
Plug.
this.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh. Does it matter what direction on this one? Or no, it would be righty.
Same type of direction.
All right, so I'm going like this. So righty tighty. 3, okay. All right, so squish that down. Oh, geez. Okay, I think I did that right. Okay, so I got this one, this one, this one. He said not to do this one. Oh, he took this out. This is the plug on the end that I think one of these goes into. Which one goes in that? Because you pulled this out. Oh, you already grabbed it, that little piece.
Oh, for the other line?
Yeah. Okay, so I forgot which one, where each one went.
We're going to plug this one.
Oh, okay. Because we're not having anything going there.
We're going to put this one here. This one I just pulled off to show you the taper.
Oh, okay.
So this is going to go back on the car, and then we're going to tighten those down.
Okay. Before we put it on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we might as well tighten those. And just go snug. They don't have to be super tight.
Okay.
Because you can break the clamp, but just tight enough to. And those clamps seem a little large to me, as far as I would probably run a smaller clamp, but.
In terms of width?
No, as far as like how much you got to tighten it down right now.
Oh, got it.
They should work fine though. I usually try and find one that's a little bit tighter.
Closer.
Yeah, so it's not as. Yeah. But it should feel pretty firm. It's not going to get like tight because these aren't really. It's kind of a thin metal, right? So that's probably good.
Right there.
So you just press on it, make sure it doesn't spin. You see a little bit of, compression.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
And if need be, we'll tighten them up.
Okay, and then this one is about the same, like down, like that?
Yeah, wherever. I mean, if you wanted to flip it, yeah. It at this point, right, it's kind of temporary. So I guess ease of installation. But if you wanted to, you got to put that screw on the inside to hide it if you're looking for a visual effect.
Oh, got it. It'd just be harder to undo, that's for sure.
With the air cleaner off, you do it the same way. It's just on the other side of the
Oh, flip it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah.
So, because this kind of sits like up a little, does that really matter right now?
Right now, no. If we were going to go drive it, see how this is kind of bouncing on here, I'd probably put something between it or mount it because it's going to bump this valve cover a little bit too.
Well, I think it's because it's also sitting on top of all this wiring.
They mounted it right there. So it's kind of rigid in this area. Right? So once we figure out that everything's cool, and before we go drive it, we will probably reorganize and make sure everything's...
So we don't have anything rattling. All right. This came with the kit, all of this. We just cut that to match. I need to tighten this one too.
Oh, yeah. That's what I went to get the screwdriver for.
What was this called? This
That is the vacuum port that they hook to the PCV valve.
vacuum port.
Yeah. So one's for brakes. That's this one. That helps the brake booster. And then this one's hooked up to the PCV valve. It puts a vacuum on the crankcase.
Get under there so you can see.
So that it actually runs better and more efficient and a whole bunch of things. Helps clean all the crap out, because when you're driving, there's a little bit of blow by from oil and fuel and whatnot. And this kind of, I guess you could say, recycles it.
Do we want to put the air cleaner on before you start it, or
yeah, but I left it off for now because we're gonna adjust fuel pressure. So you remember I said you loosen this one, and then turn that one. I already cracked it loose, but
and we need an Allen key for that.
Yep. But we're gonna get the key on.
Just fits. Okay.
And we're gonna wash the gauge on the inside of the car, and we're gonna turn that screw accordingly to about 60-62 pounds.
And because the computer will tell you that.
The gauge will tell you that.
Okay.
Because that's what this is. They added this to put a gauge in. And this is for the gauge.
Okay.
Otherwise, we technically don't need it. They wanted us to put a gauge right there on it, but since they went digital with the gauge, they wired it in the car, made it easy to see.
Ah, got it. Because you want to be able to see it rather than... All right. So you need the keys. Okay. Just turn the key over.
Yeah, and then it turns on.
Okay.
Then we go to Wizards. Sniper 2. Oh, next.
Right now we're going to need to do a little bit more research, because the distributor that Matthew has on his car, at least in the instruction manual that we have, it doesn't seem to match up with the Holley Sniper EFI 2. We're going to do some further research to see if it's even able to work with this particular distributor, or what settings we need to put the computer at to make it work, or if we need to rewire things. We're just trying to figure out what we need to do to make everything communicate properly. Aha!
All right. Woo! Feel better. Let's
You're like, come on, man.
It wasn't part of the normal setup. It was down on the bottom in a separate section that wasn't labeled.
Okay.
So I'm gonna back this out before we lose it.
And then we're gonna
put that gasket off, and we're gonna watch it, make sure nothing leaks and whatnot.
So move all this stuff out of the way so it doesn't.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere, but and then we're gonna let it do its thing and program and tune and make sure we got no fuel leaks. Ready?
Woo! Are flames supposed to come out?
No. And the only way to make the flames go out is to crank it and make sure it runs. Otherwise, it's going to keep flaming and cause all the fuel in the bowls to flame.
Okay.
So when you crank it and get it to fire, it basically causes enough airflow to go over that it puts the flame out.
Okay, so that's good. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, that's why, yeah. Well, I caught my car on fire doing that.
Oh my god.
But it was for other reasons. So.
Oh, you were able to see that from in here?
Yes, yeah.
It just came down to the settings on how you set the computer up to match what we had, and we weren't setting it up right because we didn't know specifically what setting.
Which one? Because in the section that showed ignition, it wasn't in the same section. I scrolled down past all of that, and there was another section for this one.
Okay. And the issue that we were having before, what were the numbers that were going all weird?
We were looking at this one. TPS, throttle position sensor. It was sitting and bouncing all over the place.
And right now it's not moving at all.
It's at 0, and then when I hit the gas, it changes. Right? And it was essentially doing that on its own, and it was just bouncing around all over the place.
And right now it seems to be correlating properly.
Yeah. But we need to correct the idle. You see it's kind of funky right now.
Which one's the idle?
Well, RPM.
Okay.
So we're kind of high.
Okay.
And it's trying to correct for it. Our position is 0, which means that we we need to turn the screw down, but we need to go into the idle setting and program that properly. It says to do it after it's warmed up. So we're gonna go basic, idle, it says 7. So we gotta figure out with the book how to set the idle.
Oh, this is so exciting.
And what is that?
That's the idle screw.
Something's dripping though.
Is it? Alright, so we're gonna shut it off, and that was our fuel.
Oh, okay. The quick start manual had most of the information that we needed. Jeff was using all of the step-by-step for the initial power-up and wizard, collaboration wizard. The part that we were struggling with was figuring out what specific settings we needed. He was able to reference one of the online books that had a lot more options. When we finally found the specific setup we have, it was able to start up. We are now at a point where, so it has the startup, the idle setting and throttle plate setting, after startup, first drive. So we're following all of these instructions. That way we can get the Holley Sniper EFI 2 set up to work properly with Matthew's car. We noticed that the fuel gauge was dropping down. It was because one of the pieces that we put in was a little bit loose. Right now we're gonna take that off and probably resituate it so that we can tighten it all the way. And then we are going to start it back up, and I also want to get some more fuel to make sure we had enough fuel in the tank. It would have been a lot quicker if we would have already known what settings that we would have needed to, because each step has options for you to choose. If you know specifically which ones you need to choose, it will make the process go a lot quicker. As I said before, it took us a little bit longer because we were trying to figure out what settings we needed to do for the specific distributor that Matthew has on his car. Right here is where it was leaking. We were hoping to have it set up so it was pointing directly that way so that it would kind of look more aesthetically pleasing. It wasn't all the way tight though, so we're gonna take this off so that we're probably gonna turn it around. Jeff said we're probably gonna have to put more Teflon tape because, you know, each time you put this on, it kind of seals and does its own thing.
Remove the air cleaner stud and the gasket just so it doesn't fall in. We don't lose the gasket.
Okay.
Because that is how a lot of motors blow up. That thing rattles out when it's running without an air cleaner, and they just end up hitting the throttle, and it goes right down into the engine.
I don't want that.
Right.
We need to put this somewhere that it doesn't get.
Yeah, you can put it over there on the air cleaner.
Okay.
Because we're gonna need to put it all back in before we do that anyway.
Okay.
When you feel it do that, that's neutral. So then you're going to push the clutch, which is your left foot.
Left foot. Oh, I feel like I need to go closer.
Sure.
Is it this?
Yeah, a little slide lever. You move it.
Oh, okay.
And if this was on the ground, so it's a good habit to do now, go ahead and put your foot on the brake too.
Oh, on the brake.
And the clutch.
And
all the way down. And just turn the key, hear the fuel pump, and then turn it on.
Now?
Yep.
Huh?
Good. Why are we not starting now?
We got it started that one time. Then we removed the fittings and tightened them up to prevent the fuel from leaking. When we went to start it again, it wouldn't start. We were trying to, well, mostly Jeff, he was going around to see what the potential cause would be. It's possible it could be the coil. It seems like everything with the Holley system, the computer system, seems to be working at this time. We're gonna stop here for today, and then we're gonna try a different coil and see if we get spark to allow the car to start. We only have the last part of the setup to go where you have to get it to idle, and that way the computer does its magic thing. and we're gonna do an oil change, check the fluids, and then take it for a drive. The computer is so sophisticated that it's gonna learn as you drive it in different conditions, and that would be kind of like the final step to fully getting it set up. We're not gonna do the rest of that today. If you're interested in following along, please subscribe to my channel. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next week.